Hey guys, welcome back. In this tutorial I'm going to go over the workflow of taking a 3D character out of Maya, exporting it ready for painting in Substance Painter. That way we'll have a PBR material that we can take into Unity gaming engine with the character with animation applied. So here I have a character set up. He's been fully rigged and I have a couple of blend shapes on this guy, the blink and the smile, just to show you. Okay, so let's export this little guy out. Just make sure that you've deleted any non-deformer history, etc., and that your character is at least UV unwrapped. Okay, so I do have one Lambert applied to this, and I've just painted it very briefly. So let's now send this across to Substance Painter, ready for painting. So to do that, I will go File, Export Selection, and I'm going to use an OBJ file here. OBJ. Later on we'll export this as an FBX out of Maya for the gaming engine with animation, but for now OBJ for Substance Painter. Export, and on my desktop I have a folder created called boy, and I'll just call this one boy as well for the purpose of this exercise. Export. Okay, let's go into Substance Painter. Here we are in Substance. I'll go File, New, and scroll down through the template until you hit Unity 5. Okay, and here I will select my file, and there it is, boy, the OBJ file we created. I'm going for a resolution of 2048 2K, and if you want to add any additional maybe normal maps that you've created or texture maps that you've created inside ZBrush or Mudbox, you can add them here, and then you'll click OK. Here's my character. Now before we go any further, we need to go straight over to the texture set settings over here next to layers. Click that, and you need to bake mesh maps. You'll have to scroll down to that. Click Bake Mesh Maps. Okay, good, 2K. I'm going to turn off ID because I don't have any IDs, and I'll also turn off normal. I'll just run with world space. Ambient occlusion, I'm not using either. Thickness I'll also turn off, I'm not using that. Okay, so if you need to include any high definition meshes, you can do that here if you're interested. Okay, I'll hit bake down the bottom here and just wait a minute, and it's going through the process of creating the world space, the curvature, position, etc. Click OK, and now I'm in a good position to start painting. I'll change out of my texture set settings over to layers. Here's my first base layer, and being a base layer I'll just drop on a material. I'll go skin, and I'll go say human. I'll just left drag and drop that. That's a really good start for my base layer. And by the way, I've UV unwrapped it. I tend to do most of my work on this left port here. You can hit, I think it's F2, F3, F4. Okay, I'll just go F1 to take us back. So let's do a little bit of painting. I will create a new layer here. So I go here, add a layer. There we go, I've got a new layer. With that layer selected, I will now come up to my brushes. Where are my brushes? Here they are. I'll select a brush. For the purposes, I'll just go a basic soft. I better select a color, so I can either do that over here on the left hand side here. You got stencils, base mesh, base color, etc. Alright, because I'm inside stencil. You've also got up here brushes. This is where you can define the brush. Next one over, you can design the alpha if you want to drop in an alpha. Stencil, and finally we've got materials. Here's where you can adjust them all in here. Okay. Alternatively, you could just come into your viewport, right click, and you got them straight away there as well. Okay, so I'll select a base color. I'll go with say red for now just to show you, and then I'll start painting. There we go. I have mirroring turned on, which is up here. I could turn that off. Okay, I'll leave it on. So I'm just going to undo that. Alright, and to make my brush larger, I just use my square bracket key on my keyboard, the square brackets beside the letter P, and I'll start the painting process. I'm not going to do too much painting in this, as it's more about the process of taking it over into Unity. So I'll spend a bit of time painting. I'll just pause this for now. I'll come back shortly. Okay, so here we are back, and now I'm ready to export this the textures out. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go File, Export Textures, which is Control Shift E, and then I will make sure it's Unity 5, and make sure you set the directory where you want to export to. I'll make mine on my desktop inside that boy area. Okay, then I'll hit Export. Okay, next up I'll open that folder, just minimize it, minimize this. Now back in Maya, I'm ready to export my character animation out. I've baked out the animation for this particular character, but alternatively you just select the mesh and your the rig, and you would go File, Game Exporter. Okay, because this is already I've baked the mesh out, sorry, I've baked out the animation. I will just go Export Selection, and this time it needs to be an FBX. I'll hit Export Selection, and Animation, yes, I'll go to say 140, and Blend Shapes, yes, and Embedded Media, yes. Okay, and I'll tell it put it inside boy, and I'll go boy ready. So I'll just call my one BOY. Export. Okay, close that. Now inside Unity, here I am Unity. You need to import the mesh, so I'll go Assets, Import New Asset, and I'll look for my FBX file, which was boy ready. Import that. Here it is down here. Now it does not have the materials, none here. So what I'll do, I'll right click inside my project, create material, and I'll call this boy. And then you notice here we have main maps, albedo, metallic, normal map, etc. Well, if we take my textures that I created earlier and I just drag those down into this project window, I can close this one now, there they are. And now I just simply click on my character, boy, remember, and I can left drag each of these up into their respective folder. So boy, let's drag that boy on there. Oh, sorry, first up I'll drag boy onto the materials, into here, remap materials, apply. And if you actually click on that boy material, this is what we need to populate with our textures, the boy material. So I'll left drag albedo onto albedo, just drop it up here onto main maps, and I'll do the smoothness, which was metallic smoothness, and then finally I'll do my normal map down here on normal map. And you've got to click fix now, so fix now, then it applies it. Okay, I should be able to now click my character, there he is, and he's got the materials applied. I could drag this into my working area, into the hierarchy, and here he is. I'll just rotate him. He's got the normal maps applied and the textures, and it's a PBR material. Great. Okay guys, thanks for watching.